Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. Of course, this is my most exciting part of the week, and the weeks just flick on by. I mean, it's like I do a Tuesday, then another Tuesday comes right back up on it, and I absolutely love it. I have all different guests today, and as you know, none of my guests are pre-interviewed because I like it off the cuff, as we call it, and it's like what we do is like a coffee table sort of conversation we have. Nancy next to me, Nancy Nelson, is an author. And I don't know what she does. I don't know what she writes. I just know we got Blue River Apple.
Blue River Apple.
Yeah,
an exploration of Alzheimer's through poetry.
Oh, Alzheimer's. And then we have Stephen Murray. Stephen Murray was on. Was it last week or the week?
It was last week. Yes.
So you returned real fast.
Yes.
So you kind of missed being on the show.
Absolutely.
So he made the excuse by getting Nancy on
that
he could come back on. That's the British for you. See what they do? They kind of, you know. They get
and it worked too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Whatever works.
And it worked. How are you, Stephen?
Just peachy, thank you. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing
Always
great.
better for seeing you.
Oh, it's. I wonder what he wants. No, but this is kind of, you brought Nancy on because Nancy is, you are also an author. Have you always been an author?
No, just for the last 6 years.
The last 6 years?
Yes.
So what made this, what were you doing before that?
I was in sales, insurance sales.
Oh, how boring.
Yes, indeedy.
No wonder you changed.
That's correct.
But also, I'm quite sure you had many a story.
I did, and I do.
You did and you do?
Yes.
And do you still do the insurance?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Do you get, I've always often wondered this, do you get residuals from all the insurance people you wrote up?
If you've done it well.
Well, how else would you do it?
Sometimes.
I mean, if you want to make money,
yes,
you have to do it well.
You have to do it well.
So,
correct.
So, do you don't get any residuals?
Yes.
Oh, you do get residuals. Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. Because I often wonder, you write all this stuff up, and the money you make is off the people you sign up.
Correct.
You
now,
don't really
if they don't continue their policy, you of course don't get that money.
Oh. Why not? Come on.
Oh, I'm going to get on your boat.
You get on my boat. Yeah, why not? Still pay them. And Steve, you've always been an author. You've been...
No, I started writing about 10 years ago. I've been in the computer business for, I hate to say it, 50 years. But it's since I left high school. I didn't go through college or university. So
well, English people don't do that all the time, do we?
No.
We go to a lot of technical schools.
I didn't even go to that.
No, I didn't go. Well, I didn't even go to school, so I never went to school. And then I didn't go to a technical school, which I don't know if they have the terminology over here. A technical school is a place where you go to learn a definite thing, a specific thing you're going to learn.
Yes.
And it's kind of, you don't waste your time in college of learning something you're not even going to use.
Exactly, and they do have them.
That's a waste of time.
Yes.
So only our high-profile students or teenagers are the ones that really go to university in England. I'm sure it's changed.
I haven't lived in England for so long.
No,
I wouldn't know.
Do you miss it?
Well, I don't think England's quite the England it was when I lived there. You know, everything changes no matter where you are in the world, and I'm not too sure as it's changed for the better. No.
I don't. There's a lot of back and forth now, a lot of politics going on, a lot of things going on, a lot of different nationalities in England. I expect that in America because that's what America is, but not England. And England's got sort of, it's turned around. And there's so many different nationalities there, of Europeans living there now that we're
well,
kind
it's
of...
a free movement of labour, isn't it, through the European community?
Yes.
Everybody can move anywhere.
All this Brexit and all this stuff going on, I don't know. Let's get back to Nancy, because Nancy, this is your show. Now, Blue, dot, River, dot, and then Apple. Apple is obviously our computer.
No.
It's not.
No.
See? But she's advertising it.
No, Blue River Apple are the 3 words that were given to me in a process of elimination to decide whether I had Alzheimer's, an Alzheimer's condition. And therefore, they give you 3, 5, some people have even said 7 words to remember. And it is a way of pinpointing whether you have current memory or don't.
Well, I know I don't.
And that with a lot of other testing, come up with...
Is that when they give you, like, all these words, these 3 words, and then they walk out of the room, And then they come back to see if you remembered them.
Right, or they ask you to spell world forward and backward, and then they get you talking about other things, and then they say, what are the words that we gave you in the very beginning?
After they've muddled you up with all the other
But you understand
words.
there's an awful lot of testing that goes along with it.
Yeah.
So I decided, I started after the diagnosis, I started waking up early mornings writing poetry. And so my poetry is an exploration of Alzheimer's through poetry. They're short stanzas and lines, and it's my journey. So I have written 3 books, actually.
You've written 3 books.
And it is simply to help caregivers and to help people understand. We need to get out the word and the awareness of Alzheimer's.
Does the person who has the Alzheimer's, do they know that they have it? Because you could be in a place, because if you're forgetting and your memory, you probably don't even know what you have or what you don't have.
There certainly comes a time in the life of someone diagnosed with Alzheimer's that's more than very likely.
Because they can't remember, because they don't even know what they're saying.
A lot. When you get to a certain point, that is true.
What about at the beginning? At the beginning, do they realize that something's going wrong or something's happening?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes,
What
and
did
most
you realize?
people do. I was selling insurance.
To the wrong person.
But I know, and perhaps the next day when I was asked about that, I wouldn't know the details. And it only took a couple times for me to understand that I perhaps had a problem, and always had someone with me thereafter.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that I always had a backup. My dad passed in 2002 from a diagnosis of Alzheimer's.
So obviously you feel it runs in the family.
Yes.
You feel that?
I do feel
Well,
that.
It doesn't mean it's true.
Right. The propensity for someone that has a parent or grandparent with an Alzheimer's condition is more for that child or grandchild.
Now, Steve, do you know much about this at all? I mean, are you Steve, are you copyright?
I have to keep him in check all the time.
Only a Britisher could do that and ask another Britisher the thing and know that he's not being insulted. Well, maybe. No, he's not.
No, my mother passed from Alzheimer's too, unfortunately. And my business partner's stepmother, she also passed from Alzheimer's. And Nancy and I met probably about 8 or 9 years ago, before Nancy was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And we're both in the same writers' critique group.
Okay.
And so
I thought it was boyfriend girlfriend, so I got that wrong, didn't I? I tried. I mean, they could make a great pair, couldn't they? One British and one American. They could have really,
Oh, we don't bicker enough to be a pair.
Yeah, that's honestly the truth, isn't it?
See, that's because you've got that lovely position that you're just good friends,
That's
and then
right.
nothing happens, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a beautiful
Well, not
thing.
nothing happens, but I mean, they don't have all these rows and arguments and disagreements and everything.
Right.
Back to Alzheimer's. Do you think that it seems to be an older thing that people get? People don't get this until they get older, right?
Not necessarily anymore. There is younger set Alzheimer's.
Okay, and this might get back to where I'm going. Is this also because we don't use our brain enough? Our brain is like a muscle, it's like anything in our body. I mean, if you lay in bed for 4 or 5 days, you can't walk as good as you did when you got
That is correct too, huh?
So, yeah. So what I'm thinking of, that if you don't use your brain now, the younger generation are on these computers all the time. You are using your brain, but you're not really talking to anybody.
I think you're absolutely right.
You're not actually communicating.
Right. There's no conversation.
You're not communicating. You're not going out. You're not doing a lot of stuff. I mean, when you made a date before, you made an appointment with somebody, you'd never sort of,
Needed to write it down?
No. I mean, you just remembered it and you would turn up. Now, half an hour before, are we still on? What do you mean, are we still on an hour before? Of course we are. That's how we think.
Right.
But it's all done through not even saying anything.
Right.
No.
Right. Tech.
But you remember in the old days, in England, they had pounds, shillings and pence with 12 pennies to the shilling and 20 shillings to the pound.
Yes.
And you'd be in a store and something was £5, 7 shillings and 6pence, and you wanted 3 of them. you had to do all that calculating
Yes.
in your head, carrying all those shillings and over into the pounds.
Don't forget the guinea.
Yeah, the guinea, right?
You know what a guinea is,
Yes,
right?
£1, 1 shilling.
£1, 1 shilling. How did that ever occur? People ask me, why was that? And it was because that was the old time, guinea.
I always say it was designed to confuse the foreigners, you know.
We just hold our hand out and say, pick and
What
choose.
do you want? Yeah, what do you want?
Yes.
Take some, leave some.
But would you agree with that? And you're saying like now it's occurring in the younger
Now
generation.
they're seeing.
Because it never had as many older people now that have it. But we never used to think about it before, did we?
Well, the numbers
years
are
ago.
growing for diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and the numbers in younger people are growing. And honestly, they don't really know why. They
I
haven't
think
got
it's
it
because
down
they don't
pat.
communicate.
Well, I think part of it is I have been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be diagnosed early enough so that I can be part of the solution and not just part of the problem.
Now, obviously, you are cured.
No.
What did I say?
What you see
what
here-
did I say 5 minutes ago? I'll take the test. I can't even remember. I'm not laughing at this, please. I'm not. Don't misunderstand where I'm
no.
going with it, because I'm just.
We must have a sense of humor.
We've got to have a sense of humor,
Yes.
and I know it's a very serious thing, and I do understand that. But at the same time, I think you need to everybody needs to loosen up a little bit. I think we're getting too tight. You can't say this, and you can't do this, and you
I
can't do
agree.
that. I mean, come on, your whole body is getting very tense as what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah, what's
Yes.
politically correct and not correct, and you
Well,
can't
don't
say
ask
this
me
and
what's
can't.
politically correct or something. It
Me
all comes
either.
out. It all comes out.
Yeah, me too. I'm right with you.
So
Lynn.
are you?
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. Are you halfway cured to what you were? Or are you better than what you were? Or what's going on?
I don't know that I would use the word cure because they have no word of cure when it comes to Alzheimer's at this particular point. There
that
is
what-
no
Wait a
medication.
second. Is that something someone's telling you, or is that something you feel? Because that's two different things. I mean, we'll never be cured because once you have it,
Oh
you
no,
have
no,
it.
no, no, no! I don't live in that land of never be. I never say I have Alzheimer's. I say I have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. There is
Okay.
a difference. I don't
What's the
own
difference?
this. The difference is that what lots of people that get diagnosed own it. They ingest it. Oh my gosh, there's nothing I can do. I say, hey, stand up and be heard, be counted, don't stop. I make many mistakes. This that you see right here was a mess earlier this morning. So,
You would never believe that, would you?
and
Now, what do you mean a mess? Are you talking
Well,
about a mental mess? Are you talking about not knowing what you're going to do or what you're going to say on the show? Or did you get confused about it?
I get confused all the time. When you talk about calendars and putting everything down in a techie world, so that you don't really, I write it down. 9 times out of 10, I get it on the wrong date. I'm looking right at it. I know what I'm doing, and
And you're still like that?
Ooh,
Now,
yes.
how do you recognize, you may answer, how do you recognize you've done it wrong?
Because somebody calls up and says, "Where are you?"
Oh, okay, then okay, so you don't know you've done it wrong.
Not until, lots of times, not until the deed is done. And then all I can say is, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
So how are you going to rectify that before you spoil your reputation?
No, you do, and once you say you have Alzheimer's, sometimes that is enough that people doubt you first anyway. So it's unfortunate. That's why
So-
laughing and talking about it, thank you, Ninon, for letting us come on.
Absolutely. I mean,
That's
I
why
think
we
this
have to
is a-
talk about this.
But I think everybody gets too serious. I'm not going to get serious on it because I truly believe that the more active your body is and the more you're thinking, the more you're talking, the better off you're going to be.
Absolutely.
We're all going to get older. But you know you're getting old. So what? I'm getting old. I'm 39 and holding.
Me too.
I've just been holding a long time, that's all. But at the same time, I am my age. There is nothing I can do about getting older. Absolutely nothing.
No.
But
No.
at least let's try to handle it. Now, you know that your father had, was it your father had?
My mother.
Your mother. Now, so you feel maybe you would get it too. Are you thinking that way or avoiding it out of your mind completely?
No, it's out of my mind pretty much completely. I do think I have a pretty good memory, and I appreciate there's a difference. A lot of people with Alzheimer's, it's short-term memory they lose, and they've got good long-term memory.
Yes.
I have good long-term memory, and so far I think I have pretty good short-term memory.
He does.
But I think
He does.
I think you hit the key on the head earlier, Ninon, when you said about using the brain.
Gotta use
And
your
I
brain.
think that is the key.
Yeah.
And I like to think my brain is constantly going
I know
from
mine
morning
is.
till
So
night,
I
and
know
that's
that-
why when I go to sleep, I was saying
So
to
is
Nancy
mine.
earlier,
So
I
is
crash
mine.
out.
I keep myself very
That's the
active,
key.
not because I plan that, just because of all the things I do.
Yes, yes.
I've got an antique stand, I do realty, and I do the show, and I do media stuff. I'm continuously on the
Yes.
go. Now, it's like when I said, if you go to bed for 5 days, you're not going to be able to use these legs as well as you did before.
Yes.
So I think keeping yourself active in every single form you possibly can, and being truthful to yourself.
That's right. You have to.
That's the
We
key.
have to help ourselves. We can't ingest a diagnosis. We have to say, "Hey, wait a minute. I'm okay.
This is my body.
And I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to do my exercising. I'm going to walk. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to be social. I'm going to stay out there, be able to talk to people. And even sometimes when I miss appointments or if I make mistakes, I say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't do that on purpose." But we have to.
But we have to pay more attention. And
We
that
have
means
to.
You've got to pay more attention
You
when
have
you
to
get
write it.
older, which is true.
Right. And you have to write it down. And then when you make a mistake, you have to say,
I don't like
"Okay,
to ask you, but how old are you?
75 years old."
75. You look pretty. She looks good for 75, doesn't she? Wow. I hope I look as good as you when I'm 75.
But you're only 39 and holding.
That's what
Don't
I said
give it up.
I said it. And that's it.
And I'm between 39 and death.
Well, we all are. We all
There you
are.
are. We've got more in common than you thought.
That's right. One quick question from you. What would you advise any woman or man out there that's they're getting older and they're feeling that they're not memorizing or remembering everything? What warnings would you...
I believe in early detection.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking,
I
yes.
believe that you need to go to a confident neurologist, and you need to get the information. Don't be fearful of a diagnosis. Look at that diagnosis as giving you a new path. So from that diagnosis, I went to writing, and writing so that someone else maybe would have an easier way to understand Alzheimer's, because it's very difficult to understand. No two people are the same.
I was going to say,
So-
I think everybody is different. They take on a different hand on it all. Like, you know, that's just life because we're all different anyway.
True.
So I have to half agree and half not agree, because I'm one of those people that saying if you put it out there, you might make it happen. Because if you're thinking of it, it might bring it on.
Well, if you're thinking
So-
of it, you're creating it
You're
within
creating- yes,
yourself, so
yes,
it doesn't really matter. That doesn't go away.
No,
whether
that's what
you-
I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
don't know. So I'm agreeing and disagreeing.
Yeah,
Because
well-
sometimes when people say, well, I'm going to put this brand new tire in the back of my car in case my tire bursts. Guarantee their tire will burst because they've already put it out there that it's going to happen.
But if they hadn't have thought of it first, they would not
No,
be prepared.
No, but they also wouldn't. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen.
We're gonna
So
agree
that's
to
what I say.
disagree.
But that's what I say. I agree and disagree. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
take it
right.
against of me. This is
me-
the young
yeah.
lady that has it. Nobody would ever know.
Right.
I might call you later and find out if you enjoyed the interview and what we did.
Okay.
Just to be funny. I'm
That's
bad.
great. That's great.
How can anybody reach you if they want to read your book? You've got this book out here.
Well, this is my fourth one out here. It was released last week, and I had the book launch, the Las Vegas book launch last weekend at Barnes & Noble. I'm having a Henderson book launch on it on Wednesday, July the 24th.
Oh, 24th. Okay.
24th, I think. Yes. Wednesday, July the 24th from 5 to 7 at Coppercat Books over in Henderson.
Awesome.
So it's a fun read, but also when we're talking about memory loss and what have you, Nancy and I are also doing a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, the two local organizations in Nevada,
This is
Alzheimer's
it.
Nevada and
I don't know if you can
Alzheimer's
see this, but-
Association.
I'll put that out there. But
And,
I know my producer will put this up somewhere.
There you go. But it's a fun play. It's called Love Letters by A.R. Gurney, and it's going to be on July the 19th at 7 o'clock at the Firelight Barn. And you can make reservations at www.firelightbarn.com. And Nancy and I are going to be performing the play. It's a charming, delightful, fun play. I think
It's about two friends who start out and live in a neighborhood, and their parents send them to different boarding schools, and they live their life differently, but they stay friends through these love letters back and forth. It really
Over
is
50 years.
over 50
So-
years.
That's so funny.
It's so fun.
No, because there was something just on the news when there was two people, they went to actually kindergarten together, and they went all through this life and everything, and then they kept meeting up and different things and everything else, and then eventually, after, I don't know, 50 years, whatever it was, quote unquote, they got married. And it was from the very,
Wow.
they were
Wow.
5 years
Wow.
old they met, and they went through this whole thing. So this sounds
Well,
like
these two start in second grade, and it goes on for 50
Oh,
years.
this was
Their
in
lives go
kindergarten.
in
Oh, that's-
totally
that's
different
amazing.
directions,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yes.
but it's a fun, charming
Now,
play.
can you remember the
and-
lines and everything?
No.
Well,
No, I have to read.
wait a minute. She doesn't have to remember the lines because
Right.
you're reading letters. The
Oh,
one
so
guy's
that's why
reading the
we're
letter,
doing
then
it.
That's
she
why I
reads the
can
letter.
do it.
That's why we're doing it.
She found a way around what
That's
she
right.
has, and I
That's
guess
right.
that's also encouraging the brain, encouraging how you feel,
Yes.
and you're still doing things,
Yes.
but on the level you can do it.
That's
So
right.
you
You-
found a way around it.
I have.
Cool. I
we
love
have.
that.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Very
well,
cool.
And all the
Nancy,
proceeds are going to Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's,
all
that
of the
which they
proceeds.
need.
And they're staying locally here in Las Vegas and outreach.
And then,
yeah,
of course,
in Nevada.
we mustn't forget the books. These are the two books. Amazing, absolutely wonderful. Which one do we put up first? Thank you, Nancy.
Thank
you,
you.
Stephen.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you
a
so
pleasure.
much for getting the word out.
Yeah,
I
get the
appreciate
word
it.
out, and
Thank
that's what
you.
we do here. Get
Thank
the
you.
word out. We'll be right back.
Thank you for having us on, Nina.
Thank you.
It's been
Absolutely.
a pleasure.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.